Hey guys, I'm now near my television and right now I'm going to show you a little demonstration of Super Mario All-Stars for the Wii. Originally I recorded this footage and there was a little problem when I was actually, playing the game, and the screen was a little too bright for me to see. In fact, seeing the game was nearly impossible to see because it was way too bright. So what I did was, before I started this review, I decreased the contrast so that it wouldn't do it. And thank God it looks better now. So when I turn on the game, you'll find there won't be any more problems. Alright, let's begin. As I said before, there aren't really many changes to the original Super Nintendo compilation. Super Mario All-Stars is basically just an emulation of the Super Nintendo game, so don't expect anything, truly upgraded. It's just the same game. So let's get into it. I already put the game in, so it'll be ready. I'll turn on the wireless sensor bar. This is a good recommendation for people who are sick of wires and can't stand the fact that you can easily break the wire on your sensor bar. Not to say that I did that. Hint, I actually did break the sensor bar. So I've got a wireless one by Hive Accessories. Really recommend it. You can just turn it on. The blue light there indicates it's on. Turn it off whenever you wish. I usually turn it off when I don't even use it. So let's get into it. So you can see that, right? As you can tell, it's just the intro, very basic. This is basically it. That is all they added to the game. Just an intro screen for the Wii menu when you insert the disc. That's it. Don't expect anything else. What did you think they were going to include? Alright, let's actually get into it. Yep, that's definitely better. I can definitely tell it looks like it's clear enough. I can always decrease it more if you really need it. So, as you can see, I kind of already started on Super Mario Bros. 1. The games are virtually just Super Nintendo versions of the original Mario games. There's Super Mario Bros., Super Mario Bros. Lost Levels, Super Mario Bros. 2, and Super Mario Bros. 3. We'll have a look at Super Mario Bros. 1 first. We'll just play the first world. I've got up to World 6 because I kind of played through it. You have got 4 files to choose from for each game. You can save after each world. You can save after each level in Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels. In these other games, it's only after each world, I believe. I could be mistaken. Okay? I have to look at the instruction manual, but I can't be bothered. So, yeah, let's just have a look at this game. Might even decrease the contrast even more, because now I'm a little more aware. The last time I didn't want to make this stupid mistake. So, let's make it even lower. It's bad for me, but I'm happy to, be encouraging to all of you. Does that even look good? They'll have to do. That's the problem with these screens. They make it impossible to see. So as you can tell, there's nothing really changed here, but there is a little gripe I have about the Super Mario Bros. And Super Mario Bros. Lost Levels. Basically, when you turn big, there's this real issue where you kind of face through the blocks. You don't really ricochet off them. So how do you solve that problem? Well, you can't really. You have to sort of change the way you play the game on this a little bit. The overall quality of the games is still great. There is nothing really out there to really grab you. It's just meant to look a little nicer for the Super Nintendo, or in this case for the Wii. I'm actually really thankful that they ported this to the Wii, because one of the problems is it's very hard for me to get out my Super Nintendo again because there's no room to put these games, you know? That I've already got 4 consoles in my room, so I don't have any room. So yeah, this is just the underground. This compilation is awfully stingy. They really haven't included anything more than this game, an instruction manual, and a CD soundtrack. They didn't really try hard with this compilation. Well, despite the fact that you might find it a bit hard to see Mario, you can still see the background, can't you? Because what's on the camera I can see as well, because it's facing towards me, okay? This is on the Mac, so obviously I'll be able to see whatever you can see. There is no real gripe about these games. It's pretty much the same thing. You can play with the Wii remote on its side. I thought you could play with the nunchuck, but I tried it. It doesn't work. You can play with the classic controller. This is the classic controller Pro. It will work as well. You can plug them in whenever you like. They'll work automatically like there's no tomorrow. See? You don't even have to modify any of the control schemes in any particular menu. Not that you really can. See, did you notice when I ran, you sort of face through the block rather than ricochet off it? Well, that's the problem with this port. They basically butchered the whole ricocheting off the block, you know? You just face through it. Yeah, that's the only criticism. It's basically the same game. Good controls, it all works the same. This is basically mimicking the original control scheme on the Super Nintendo. So it's the same buttons, B and A to run, Y and X to jump. Okay, B and A to jump, and Y and X to dash or shoot fireballs if you've got Fire Mario. Whew. Okay, I think we've seen enough of this, and since I don't really want to alter anything, I'll just reset the game. There is no denial that there's plenty of features in the game that I wish they added, like where's my commentaries, where's my interviews, where's artwork, where's anything to add? So this is Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels. It's Super Mario Bros. 2, and in Japan they have a similar compilation called Super Mario Collection. It's basically Super Mario Brothers for super players, which is funny because it technically is for super players. It's really that difficult. What they added to this game was a poison mushroom, which is blue, and if you hit it, it pretty much has the same effect as being hit by an enemy. So if you're small and you grab it, game over. Or just lose a life, really. Yeah, it's basically the same graphics, same sort of gameplay, just harder levels. Basically, it's like, you know, creating a ROM hack, except it was done officially by Nintendo. Yeah. So yeah, pretty much the same game. What can I really add to it? So there's like a few, you know, annoying add-ons like, you know, a spring jump that makes you jump really high, and wind that, you know, pushes you back, and you've got these really difficult jumps sometimes. I've already explained this in my Lost Levels review, so anything I said in that review is exactly what's in here. Except they've made it a little easier, not by much, just a little bit easier. You know, sort of like, you know, they might take away a few enemies here and there, or they You know, they're trying to make it accessible to Western audiences, because remember, this was, yeah, I phased through that for some reason. Yeah, and try to make it a little bit easier for Western audiences. I think this is enough of this game. We'll have a look at one more, and we'll be looking at Super Mario Brothers 2. In Japan, it's called Super Mario USA. It's basically a modification of Doki Doki Panic, another game that was released for the Nintendo, but was, you know, sort of unknown until Super Mario Brothers 2 came out and people discovered what it was. You know, it was a modified version of Doki Doki Panic. This game is heavily different to the other Mario games because you can pick up vegetables to kill enemies and you cannot jump on enemies to kill them. But it's basically the same game as the NES counterpart. Thankfully, they didn't butcher it, they actually made it better. The graphics are nice, as you can tell. They are exactly what they should be. I'm playing Luigi currently because he can jump really high. A very advantageous, you know, ability that he has. Peach can float, and Mario is just your average character. He can do what Mario can do. Toad, well, he's useful if you want to pick up enemies quickly. He's meant to be strong. Yeah, stupid me. Pick someone else. Peach. Somehow everyone uses Peach because they always like her for big jumps. See, she can float if you hold the jump button. Pretty cool. So yeah, it's the same game. There's nothing I can really say about it. So you're probably wondering why I'm doing this review. Because I did part 1 and I promised you gameplay, so I showed you part 2. What do you expect? There's nothing really to say. It's just, yeah, the same game. Oh, I forgot you can duck and you jump. Try and jump a little bit higher. There's little tricks here you can do. See? Sometimes you can take shortcuts. It's always good to take shortcuts. Alright, enough of this game. We'll show you one more. It's just Super Mario Brothers 3. And in case you're wondering, yes, there is another version. Super Mario All-Stars and Super Mario World. This was never released on the Super Nintendo thing. Basically, on the Wii, it was never released. It was released on the Super Nintendo, but they never bothered releasing that version because what Nintendo tried to do was tell you that you should get it on the Virtual Console. These versions you can get, but not Super Mario World because it's already been released on the Virtual Console. So therefore, you don't deserve to play it on this because, you know, we want our money's worth. So you better buy this and forget about Super Mario World. Yeah, that was my way of interpreting it. Anyway, this is probably the best version of Super Mario Bros. 3. You can probably say the Game Boy Advance version is, but just look at this. Doesn't the graphics look very familiar? That's right. On the Game Boy Advance, it's exactly the same. The music is altered a bit, but that's only because of the Game Boy Advance hardware. I honestly prefer it on this, though. I don't know, it's just preferable. So yeah, it's a good game. You got all the same shit. It's all the same shit, just nicer graphics. Everything I said in my previous reviews are what I would say about this game. Other than that bullshit ricocheting off the blocks in Super Mario Bros. And Super Mario Bros. Lost Levels, nothing has really changed other than the graphics. And the fact that they were too stingy to bother doing anything more than release something else in the compilation. It's just mind-boggling. They had so much memory on the disc and they didn't bother enhancing it in any way. Just It's just an emulation. But this is good for people who don't have a Super Nintendo, alright? Or someone who can't be bothered getting out the original Super Nintendo. Go ahead and buy this if you really want to. I only recommend it if you're a fanatic of Mario or just want to see these games in their Super Nintendo glory on the Wii. And you don't have a Super Nintendo. That's it for now. Alright, toodly-doo. Until next time, I'll see you in the near future.